Throughout the past 2 weeks, I have talked about two teams the Big 12 may realistically consider if they decide to expand to 14 teams, like they are rumored to. While I enjoy talking about the realistic scenarios, the best part of college football realignment is the crazy situations that just seem unrealistic. Who would have thought Oklahoma and Texas would join the SEC years ago? So, I want to jump the shark today and start talking about some movement that just seems unrealistic. Today, we are talking about Clemson moving to the SEC. This video idea was sparked by a comment left by C1V1C on my Memphis video, and it really got me thinking. Before we address why Clemson would fit in the SEC, let's talk about why they would maybe leave the ACC in this scenario. Let's start off with the idea of money. According to On3, the ACC is a 20-year top-tier deal with ESPN that runs through 2036. It pays about $240 million annually, meaning each of the 14 schools get about $17 million each year. To compare that to the Big Ten and SEC, who could be negotiating for even bigger deals, each Big Ten school earns about $31.3 million, and the SEC earns about $44 million a year per team from their total revenue distribution system. There is a major difference in the amount of money from the television deals when comparing the ACC, SEC, and Big Ten. The SEC number is expected to be renegotiated with the additions of Oklahoma and Texas as well. Imagine the deal the conference could secure if you toss Clemson in there as well. Clemson also does not really fit the ACC like they would the SEC. They are more like Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia than North Carolina, Virginia, or Duke. Clemson has been described as Auburn but with a lake. The first three Clemson football coaches were also Auburn graduates as well. Clemson's main rival, South Carolina, is already in the SEC, and they are only 75 miles away from Athens. Who doesn't remember the amazing Georgia-Clemson games? Andy Staples from The Athletic writes, "Conferences have become marriages of convenience, but they started off as a group of like-minded peer institutions. Cultural fit mattered, and it's not a coincidence that the two strongest conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC, also have the most culturally alike schools among their membership. Anyone who has ever stepped foot on Clemson's campus knows that it's an SEC school that hasn't even been in the conference. With the addition of Clemson, the SEC would have Alabama, Georgia, and Oklahoma, which would make up 4 of the 6 teams that have made the college football playoffs multiple times. The others being Notre Dame and Ohio State as the only schools with multiple appearances. Clemson and Alabama are the only teams that have won multiple national championships during the college football playoff era as well. Besides last year, which Clemson did win 10 games by the way, the Tigers have consistently competed on the same level as the Crimson Tide in recent years. Clemson even reached out about joining the SEC last year. According to a report from Mark Ryan, Assistant Program Director of ESPN Upstate, per a reliable source, Clemson and Florida State have reached out to the SEC about joining the conference. The SEC is concerned that streaming numbers for Clemson and Florida State don't bring what Oklahoma and Texas do. Notre Dame is the only free agent left that would add to the pot. Clemson came out and said those claims were not true. I just want to take a second and ask if you are enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more college football content. Also, let me know which team I should talk about next in the comment section below. So, why would this move not happen? Well, let's start off with the fact that the ACC television deal runs through the mid-2030s would be hard to get out of. Texas and Oklahoma would need to pay upwards of $70 million to get out of their deal early with the Big 12, and that only has a few years left. According to David Hale, Florida State, Clemson, and every other non-Notre Dame ACC team are contractually obligated to forego their TV revenue through 2036 if they depart before then. In hard numbers, that's approaching $500 million, or 5 to 6 times what Texas and Oklahoma are on the hook for. Yes, they'd earn more money in the SEC, which might help offset some of the financial damages, but it would also put them at a significant competitive disadvantage in their new league. If the rest of the SEC is flush with cash, and Florida State and Clemson are paying down a $500 million debt, that's a problem. Right now, Clemson is a big fish in a small pond and has run the conference for the past few years. Why would they want to give that up? Along with that, the SEC may not even be interested in them. Pete Nakos from On3 writes, Clemson and Florida State are huge brands. The two schools have combined for 6 national titles. But just because they are the pillars of the ACC does not mean the SEC would want to welcome them. Hale goes on to say, neither expands the SEC footprint, and both would have current SEC members strongly against it. SEC folks I have talked to say teams like Virginia Tech or North Carolina could be better targets for that reason. South Carolina and Florida would probably vote either of those schools down from entering the conference. This was a fun experiment that I enjoyed making, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I think Clemson in the SEC would be fun, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon, if ever. What do you think? Should Clemson join the SEC? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for daily college football content, make sure to check out one of my other videos the algorithm knows you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.